Welcome, everyone. Today, we're diving into a definitive guide tailored specifically for managers and team leaders. We'll be unpacking the source material behind a really critical mindset shift. We're talking about moving away from that outdated metric of raw hours worked and shifting our focus entirely toward maximizing team efficiency and identifying tasks we can automate. So if your team is working incredibly hard but just not making the progress you expect, let's fix that.
Okay, let's dive into this with a classic analogy. Imagine two people out in the woods trying to cut down a tree. The first person swings their axe non-stop for 10 hours straight, sweating, grinding, just pure brute force effort. But the second person, they stop every single hour to sharpen their axe. At the end of the day, who do you think cuts down more trees? It perfectly highlights the core paradox we face in leadership. We often assume success only comes from working harder, when the reality is it's about working smarter.
So, that brings us to a pretty direct question about your daily operations. Is your team swinging an unsharpened axe? Are you relying purely on brute force effort to hit your goals? Honestly, it's a painful realization for a lot of managers when they discover their team is just grinding away with dull tools, completely wasting energy that could be channeled into measurable progress.
Here is our roadmap for this explainer. We just covered the sharpened axe analogy. Next, we'll examine the hard work illusion, define the smart work mindset, and look at automating for team efficiency. Then we'll wrap up with the 3 pillars of success and how to perfectly combine effort with strategy.
All right, Section 1, the hard work illusion. Why effort alone just isn't enough.
Let's formally define how we've traditionally viewed this concept. Hard work usually means putting in long hours, constant effort, and unyielding determination. And look, history loves a hard worker, right? It builds discipline, it overcomes massive challenges. But using it as your primary management strategy in the modern workplace, well, it actually has some serious, costly limitations.
The source highlights a few major pitfalls when you rely only on raw effort. Take the student studying 12 hours straight without a single break. If we translate this to your world as a manager, you really need to look out for the employee working late every single night. Or worse, manually executing tasks that a piece of software could literally do in seconds. These are massive managerial red flags. They indicate a team that is grinding without a strategy. And let's be honest, it's exhausting just watching it happen.
Because the stark truth is, working hard doesn't always guarantee the best results. When we, as leaders, celebrate late nights and raw energy without questioning the underlying methods, we're basically endorsing wasted time. Your team might be expending tremendous energy doing things manually that could be automated entirely if everyone just took a step back.
Moving on to Section 2, defining the smart work mindset, or using your brain before your energy.
Now, what's really interesting about this is that smart work is all about achieving better results with better strategies. Instead of your team focusing entirely on how much sweat they're expending, they focus on efficiency. It really anchors the whole idea that strategy has to precede energy. You have to plan the cut before you ever swing the axe.
Which brings us to Section 3, automating for team efficiency, identifying tasks to streamline.
The source provides a super actionable automation audit for you and your team leaders to use. It boils down to 3 essential questions. Step 1, is there a faster way to do this? Step 2, can technology or automation help us out here? And step 3, what task actually yields the highest return on investment? By forcing your team to pause and answer these 3 questions, you instantly shift their mindset from manual grinding to strategic optimization. You're giving them the green light to step back and rethink the entire process.
The impact of running this audit can be absolutely staggering. The source uses an example of a business owner who applies these exact automation questions to their repetitive tasks. The result? They save hundreds of hours every single year. Hundreds. Just imagine giving your team back hundreds of hours simply by letting technology handle the heavy lifting.
And this brilliantly illustrates the difference in outcomes we see everywhere. Think about studying. You have one student using brute force to read for 10 hours straight. Another student uses active recall, practice tests, study schedules, smart strategies basically, and they actually learn more in just 3 hours. Whether it's cramming for a test or executing a massive quarterly project, strategic systems require a fraction of the time input to achieve far superior results.
All right, Section 4, the 3 pillars of success. Why smart work always wins. The source outlines 3 major advantages to making this operational shift. First up, better results, because you're focusing purely on high-impact activities. Second, it saves time and energy. Look, time is strictly limited, so working smarter completely helps avoid team burnout.
And third, it encourages innovation. Because your team isn't totally exhausted all the time, they actually have the mental bandwidth to find smarter, automated ways to solve problems.
So the crucial point here is that success isn't about doing more work. It's about doing the right work. As a manager, your ultimate goal isn't to somehow squeeze more hours out of your team, it's to help them identify and execute the right tasks as efficiently as possible.
Which leads us to Section 5, combining effort and strategy, the ultimate managerial synthesis.
Because here is the real secret. Hard work and smart work are absolutely not enemies, they're essential partners. Imagine you're in a rowboat. Hard work is rowing with absolutely all your strength. It's the engine, right? It provides the effort. But smart work is making sure you're actually steering the boat in the right direction. It provides the trajectory. Maximum effort only yields success when it's paired with the correct direction. If you just row hard without steering, you're literally just doing laps in the middle of a lake.
The source leaves us with this really fantastic guiding philosophy for every successful manager out there. Don't work harder than necessary. Work smarter than expected. Work hard, yes, for sure, but work smart, and success is going to come so much faster.
I want to leave you with one final thought. Look at your team's current workload today. Which of your team's tasks will you sharpen? Where can you apply that automation audit? Stop the endless chopping and finally sharpen the axe. I really hope this explainer has energized you to take a hard look at your team's efficiency today. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time.